Okay, let's talk about fractions and decimals. I know, you probably think of them from school, right? But today, we're going to put them in their proper place. Think of them as two of the most essential tools you have for just making sense of the world. Seriously, this isn't about passing a math test. It's about understanding everything, one little piece at a time.
I mean, just think about it for a second. The world isn't just a neat little pile of 1, 2, 3. When you're measuring ingredients for a recipe, or checking your weight, or even splitting a bill with friends, you are constantly dealing with amounts that fall somewhere between those whole numbers. So, how do we even talk about those in-between values?
Like when you're cooking, a recipe might say you need half a cup of this or 3/4 of a cup of that. We get this instinctively, right? This is the language of parts of a whole. It's the language of fractions, and we use it all the time.
Or think about the grocery store. That digital scale, it doesn't just say your stuff weighs 11 kilograms or 12 kilograms. Nope, it gives you the super precise number. And that little dot, that's the key. That's a decimal point, and it lets us be incredibly accurate.
So here's our game plan for how we're going to build out this toolkit today. We'll kick things off with why we even need these numbers. Then we'll explore our first tool, fractions. Then our second, decimals. After that, we'll see how they're connected, and finally, we'll put them to work in the real world. Sound good?
All right, first up, let's really get into this world of pieces. We are literally surrounded by measurements that just don't fit into those neat little boxes of 1, 2, or 3.
I mean, counting apples is easy, right? 1, 2, 3. But what about measuring time, or weight, or money? For that kind of stuff, whole numbers just don't cut it. They're not enough. We had to invent something new to capture all those crucial in-between amounts. And that leads us right into the very first tool in our kit, the fraction. This is the OG, the classic. It's how people have been talking about parts of a whole for centuries. And you know what? The core idea could not be simpler. A fraction is just a number that represents a part of something whole. Now that whole thing could be a single object, like a pizza, or it could be a whole group of objects, like say a classroom with 20 people in it.
So how do these things actually work? Well, it's a really clever two-part system. The bottom number, that's the denominator, it tells you how many equal pieces the whole thing is cut into. So for our pizza, that's the total number of slices. Then the top number, the numerator, that tells you how many of those pieces you actually have. Simple as that.
Okay, time for our second tool, the decimal. You can think of decimals as a more modern, kind of a streamlined version of a fraction. It's specially designed for the way we count in our base 10 number system.
See, deep down, decimals are really just a specific kind of fraction. The denominator, that bottom number, is always a power of 10. Like tenths, hundredths, or thousandths. But here's the really clever part. Instead of writing out the whole fraction, we just use that decimal point as a brilliant little shortcut.
And this is where the real magic happens. Just look at the numbers to the right of that decimal point. Each position you move to the right gets 10 times smaller. So that first spot, that's for tenths. The next one over is for hundreds. The next one is for thousands, and it just keeps going. It's an incredibly efficient system for showing tiny, tiny pieces of a whole.
So, we've got these two awesome tools in our kit, right? Fractions and decimals. But here's the most important thing to get. They are not separate ideas. Just think of them as two different languages that we use to say the exact same thing. And this slide just shows it perfectly. Whether you write 12 over 25 or you write 0.48, you are talking about the exact same amount. One isn't better than the other, they're just completely interchangeable ways of being precise.
All right, enough talk. It's time to open up our toolkit and see these concepts in action. Let's tackle a real-world problem and see just how useful and practical this all is. Okay, here's our scenario. Goran goes shopping and buys a bunch of fruit. We've got a list of the fruits and their weights, and the goal is simple, find the total weight. But there's a little catch, as you're about to see.
Okay, so here's our data. You see the problem? We've got a mix of kilograms and grams all jumbled together in the same list. Trying to add this up directly would be a complete mess, and this is exactly where our toolkit comes in handy.
So the first rule for a problem like this is you have to get everything speaking the same language. We need to standardize our units. To make the math easy, let's just convert all of these weights into the smaller unit, which is grams. So 2 kilograms, 280 grams, well, that just becomes 2,280 grams. 3 kilograms, 375 grams becomes 3,375 grams, and so on. Once everything is in grams, we can just add them all up, which gives us a grand total of 11,265 grams.
But wait, we're not done.
The original question asked for the total in kilograms. And since there are 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram, we need to divide our total by 1,000. And this is the exact moment where decimals really shine.
And boom, there's our answer. Dividing by 1,000 is as simple as just moving the decimal point 3 places to the left. The total weight is 11.265 kilograms. A clean, super precise answer, all thanks to our understanding of decimals. See how that worked?
So let's pack up our takeaway toolkit. Here's what you got to remember. Fractions are the classic way to show parts of a whole. Decimals are their modern, streamlined cousins, built for our base 10 world. The most important thing is that they are interchangeable tools that can turn complicated daily problems into simple ones. This isn't just about math, you guys. It's a practical life skill.
Let's end on this fundamental truth, because this is really the heart of the whole thing. The moment you divide anything into equal parts, you have just stepped into the world of fractions. It's that simple.
So I'll just leave you with this to think about. After you account for work and sleep and all the other obligations, what fraction of your 24 hours is truly, completely yours? It's something to ponder.